Hi, welcome back to Rage Quit with me, Sheppo. Today we're not really going to be raging and we're not going to be quitting, but we are going to be talking about the leveling experience and the PvE experience out in the questing zones of World of Warcraft, and really what can be done to improve that and get more people out there, kind of build on that feeling of immersion and it being a real world. So if you're not aware, in 5.4, which is probably going to be out by the time this video gets uploaded, there is a new feature called Merged Realms, and what Merged Realms does is it shows all players from the Merged Realm pool essentially being on the same realm as each other. It's a little bit like cross-realm zones. Before, you might have had a lowly populated zone, and what Blizzard would do would be to merge that zone with that zone from a couple of other realms. It's all done transparently and kind of like by magic in the background, but it essentially puts more people into the same zone, which is good. I think a lot of people thought that was a good idea. It allows you to hop between servers and play with friends. But one of the things that didn't allow you to do is everything else, essentially. So you couldn't go into your capital city, you couldn't join a guild from another realm, you couldn't look at another realm's auction house, you couldn't trade, you couldn't be in an arena team, that kind of thing. So arena teams are gone in 5.4, but everything else with merged zones you can do. So you could essentially quest from 1 all the way up to 90 with somebody from a completely different realm. You could be in the same guild as those guys and you can trade between with them as well. It's all pretty cool. So Blizzard are doing this because they think that's going to fix it's going to fix the lowly populated realms issue, and that's about all it's going to fix. But they also think it's going to fix the lowly populated zones and essentially the lowly populated leveling experience, and it's not. And there's a very good reason why it's not going to fix that, and that's because leveling is too quick in WoW. Or to look at it another way, the leveling experience, the story that takes you through a zone, is too slow. So at the minute, a lot of people are in guilds, are in level 25 guilds, because level 25 guilds have been out for a couple of years now, and one of the perks you get partway through leveling up that guild is an increase to experience. So every time you kill a mob or hand a quest in, you're going to get, I think it's 10% XP gained. And the problem is with that, if you go and try and level through a zone and follow the story, usually by the time you get to the end of that zone, the gear's no good for you and you might not be getting XP from killing the mobs and doing the quests. Essentially, there's no point to be there, because when you're leveling, you're trying to get XP and you're trying to progress your character. And that's a really important thing. The game designers understood very early on when they were developing WoW that a thing that's going to make people come back to the game is that sense of achievement with their character, but also the sense of fun. What you're doing has to be fun, but equally you have to feel like every time you log into the game and do something that's fun, that it's going to push your character forward. That could be a profession, that could be leveling or doing some quests or whatever. That was really their kind of mentality behind designing the game. I'm going to put a link into the video at this point. It's going to link to some behind the scenes interviews with the game designers that kind of explains this. It's all very interesting if you're into that kind of thing. But anyway, that was the reason why I think one of the things that made WoW very popular in the early days was its accessibility, but also that there was a wide variety of things you could do that progressed your character. Now, we have more things that can progress your character at the minute, but most of those are only endgame. So you've got Looking for Raid, we've got Proving Grounds coming in 5.4, we've got scenarios, PvP, pet battles and all that stuff. It's great, but at the minute, if I want to log in on a level 20 character and feel like I'm going to progress my character, chances are I'm going to queue for a dungeon. I might queue for a battleground, but chances are dungeon, and in the background I might do some questing, I might just idle in the city. It's that kind of thing. So to fix this whole sense of, this is a fix for multiple different things. So it's a fix for getting rid of the grind for a lot of players, the leveling grind, which is dungeon running. It should, I think, teach people how to play, because the thing is, if you're going to level alone, especially in this game, one of the things that's going to do is going to teach you how to play your character more effectively. You might die along the way, so what? That's how it works. So it's also going to allow you to level up your professions whilst you're out there, because at the minute And this is all from my personal experience, but at the minute when I'm leveling a new character, I do it in a dungeon, and then when I get to max level, then I worry about my professions, and I normally spend a few thousand gold just cheating it off the auction house. Where like in vanilla, I didn't do that. In vanilla, I leveled my professions along with questing and leveling through the quest zones. So to fix that, I think the way to tackle that is to get the content to automatically scale to your character. And also make it so that no matter what level or no matter what scaling you've got, you can still feel like you're going to get some reward from doing that. So let's take Westfall as an example. Westfall's leveling range is listed from 10 to 15. Like I said, if you're going in with a guild perk, you're going to get a 10% XP bonus from that. If you're doing it with heirlooms, I can't remember exactly how much of a boost you're going to get. If you're a monk, you'll have an XP bonus to your rest XP. Then you've got rest XP. Yeah, there's potions in the game that are going to give XP bonuses as well, and of course the new in-store item that's coming initially to Asia but will probably end up in the Western territories as well is going to give you a 300% XP bonus. And then you've got recruit a friend, and it's ridiculous. So with any or some of those, any or all of them rather, you're going to be finishing that zone after just a handful of quests, not all the way through the zone. And then you're going to think, well, with all these bonuses, especially if you're a seasoned player and you've got all your heirlooms and maybe you're doing it with Recruit a Friend, you just know there's absolutely no point you finishing that zone. It's a waste of your time. The items you're going to get are going to be grey and useless. The quests you're going to get are going to be grey and reward you no XP and little money. So the fix is make it so that any quest you pick up is relevant to the level that you are. So there's two ways to do that. You can either get the quests to scale to you, and the difficulty of those quests will scale to you as well. If you're in a party, then obviously there's a bit of balancing to do there, so that's probably not the easiest option. The easiest option is to scale you to the content, but still give you the rewards from the content that's relevant to you. So if you're level 60, you're going to need a lot more XP to level. But why can you not go back and do a level 10 quest that you've not done yet? If you're scaled down to level 10, why can you not get XP that's relevant to you at level 60? So it'll give you the same amount as if you completed a quest in Hellfire Peninsula. Makes perfect sense to me. Blizzard already have the technology to scale your item level down to any level they want. They already do this in challenge modes, so we know they can do that. Surely it's just simply a case of scaling it all the way down and taking some of your base stats along with it as well. Now, I know one of the bad sides to this is that people will be thinking, well, I like to go to some of the old zones and just be able to one-shot everything. That's funny. Ha ha ha. Yeah, for 5 minutes. It's not a core feature of the game. I think having that content for people to do would just open up those zones again. And again, let's be honest, there's a lot of people that have maximum level characters that haven't done all those quests, and to give them that content again, open up that content to them, would just be amazing. It would definitely get some of the higher level characters out there just to do stuff, because they know they're going to get some gear, or maybe the gold rewards will scale as well. I mean, that's another option you could do there when you complete a quest. It's just going to give them an incentive to go back out into the world. People of all levels, not just people that are leveling or doing their pet battles or archaeology. So as well, the content that you're dealing with has to scale as well. In Mr. Pandaria, the concept of having a quest which required a number of people to partake in, e.g. a difficult elite mob, that was removed from the game. There are no group quests in Mists of Pandaria. You may or may not have noticed that. They've all been moved now into scenarios, and I think that was one of the stupidest ideas Blizzard have done in recent years. Now, I like scenarios. They're good. They allow Blizzard to tell stories in a unique way, I guess. It's kind of quite cool. But I don't like the idea of them removing group quests from the game. Now, thinking back to the last time I really did group questing to the point where I actually needed to be in a group to do them was in Dragonblight in Wrath of the Lich King, and there's a lot of elite mobs in that zone, and at the time when the content was relevant, they were difficult to take on your own. It wasn't impossible, but it certainly helped if you had more than one player doing them. And again, it's all building that sense of community. Now that that's gone, there's no need to speak to anybody that you encounter in game. It doesn't have to be mandatory content. In fact, it's probably better if it's not mandatory content. Allow it so that There is content that scales to groups. Again, have dynamic scaling of mobs that get harder and they hit harder and they have more HP if you're in a group. We already have this in 5.3. Blizzard introduced quest NPCs, essentially, which have been in the game since I think Cataclysm. They appear on your map when you're on a quest with a little exclamation mark, and they can't be tagged, so anybody that needs or is doing that quest can attack the mob and kill it, and they'll get recognition for killing it. In 5.3, Blizzard extended that concept even further and allowing for the mob that you're attacking, which is part of the Baron's take back escalations, whatever. Those mobs would actually scale the more people that are attacking them. So if one person's attacking them, for example, they would have 1 million HP and not hit very hard, and as soon as another person came along and attacked it, the health would scale up to 2 million, for example, and they would hit a bit harder. It's brilliant. It very much reminds me of the Guild Wars way of doing it, although a bit more obvious. You actually see the boss's health or the NPC's health actually go up when other people start to join in and attack it. And of course, once that mob goes down, you all get rewarded for it. You can all loot it and you all get a little bit of whatever you want from there, like coin or some quest rewards or whatever. We need more of that in the game. At the minute, or when Escalation first rolled out, people were just having so much fun in the Barons. It's really the kind of thing that the game needs a lot more of. It doesn't have to be the same. Don't make it monotonous and repetitive. You know, a sprinkling of that here and there in the zones would make an absolute massive difference.
So you're probably thinking, this is never going to happen. This sounds like a massive change to the way WoW works at the minute. And Blizz never do big changes like this. They're going to incrementally, if at all, roll that out. Well, I don't make these episodes in 5 minutes, just when I'm a bit bored. This is done over the space of a couple of days, and in the middle of actually making this, I've watched the WoW Crendor interview with Corey Stockton, I think it is, who talks a little bit more about some of the things that we're going to get in 5.4, and some of this stuff that I'm talking about here is actually going to be in the game. It's going to make up the core PvE content outside of raiding. So what they're doing is they've got this new piece of land called the Timeless Isle. There are no daily quests there is no rep to grind, but there are mobs to farm, and they're shared loot mobs. There are events, so that's very much like your event system in Guild Wars 2 and public questing from Warhammer Online. It's a lot of exploration. I believe, or I hope, there's some jumping puzzles, because I love those in Guild Wars 2. And generally, I think what Blizzard are doing is they're testing the waters. What they're going to do is to go, okay, this is what we could do. We've spent a lot of time changing the back end to like loot systems, allowing the game to understand the concept of an event where you can join in at any time and you can put a certain amount of effort into that and it will reward you appropriately. But like I say, I think they're definitely testing the waters here. They're going to gauge people's reactions to that, and I think it's going to go very well. A lot of people that have been on the PTR are saying it's one of the best things that Blizzard have done in a long time, especially in comparison to the wealth of daily quests that we've had for the rest of this expansion. I think people are going to look at it, think it's amazing. It's going to get people out there, hopefully re-interacting with each other, and I think it's going to make up a massive part of the next expansion, which is really great news. But it's not enough. For the new expansion, level 90 to 95 or whatever it's going to be, nobody really cares about the leveling there. We're going to do it once, and then maybe a few months down the line we might do a couple of our alts. The problem with the game is the rest of the leveling. It's the 1 to 90 experience. And although I don't believe for a second Blizzard are going to go back and touch the 1 to 60 leveling experience for some time, maybe in a few years or maybe a couple of expansions down the line, I'm hoping they're going to touch the Outland leveling experience and the Wrath leveling experience and the Cataclysm level experience, because as good as they are compared to how vanilla used to be, they're pretty dire now. They really need a fresh lick of paint, and I'm hoping they're going to introduce this event system and dynamic content, and of course we want that scaling mechanism where we can go back as a level 95 and do some level whatever zones, and it's actually going to be a challenge and we're going to get rewarded for it. So they're my ideas. I'd love to know what you think. If you've got any comments, suggestions or anything, put them in the comment field below. I love the feedback, I'll take it on board, and hopefully I'm going to continue this Rage Quit series, and I really want to get a bit more angry, but I'm too nice. I'll see you next time.